I'm going to take a piece of leftover cherry wood here, and I got a 3/8 cherry dowel. First thing I'm going to do is take this over to the miter saw, and I'm going to go ahead and cross cut it and get it exactly, I don't know what it is, it's probably, it's 5 1/4, so that'll make it 5 1/4 this way. So we'll get over there and chop this off. Okay, I cut off this end here, and then I turn it and cut off the other. Now what I do is I got a 4x4 square piece of cherry wood. My next step is to, I'm going to be drilling 9 3/8 holes in this. Now I'm going to have to measure it out to make sure all 9 holes are even across the board, so I'm going to do that next. The piece of cherry wood is now cut 4.5 by 4.5. And then I went and measured on here 1.5 to this line, then 1.5 to that line. And of course from here to here is 1.5, so that's 4.5. Now what I'm going to do is go over to the table saw and set the rip fence up where the blade's in the middle of these lines. So whatever it is, I'll lock the rip fence down, and I'm going to send it through, making some lines in this with the blade itself. I only go about 1/8 inch deep. Okay, so let's take it over to the table saw and get that done. Now that I got it, notice I got it sawed across with just the blade from the table saw. Now next thing you want to do is take your pencil, and you want to put your straight edge right on this point here and this point here. Put it on there and draw a line, then go across, and from this point here to this point right here, do the same thing, set it up, draw a line. You want to do the whole thing that way, which I already did. If you notice, it's got all the X's in it. From here I'm going to use a center punch, and I'm going to center punch all these out. Okay, I got all the center punches put in all these. The next step is to drill the holes. Now this is a 3/8 dowel. I'm going to drill the next size up, which is a 25/64, which is what that is. So I'll put this in the drill press, and then I'm going to be drilling them the depth probably about halfway down. Okay, I got it set up. I decided to go about 3/4 down. So see, I got it preset, so it stops at 3/4, around 3/4 deep. Okay. I noticed when I went in real slow, so I don't tear this up out on the outside. So see how smooth they are? So lower this really slow all the way down. Okay, what I did was I put the dowel in here. I figured I probably want it to come up about this much, so I put a pencil mark right here. So that's about the length of each one. So what I'm going to do, I got to cut 10 of these out. So what I did is I strapped down the miter box to the table. I put a block here with a clamp, and if I butt it up to it, it'll be the same as the line. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut 10 of these out. Alright, so we're going to go for 10 of these. Now I'm using this because miter saw is too dangerous to cut these in a miter saw, and I also want a square, so that's why I'm using this. Okay, I set this up with a 320 grit. I'm going to go ahead and sand these little dowels on this because it's easier for me because of my hands, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. Okay, the pegs are completed, they're ready to go. Next step is I'm going to take this over to the bench sander and put an 80 grit on it and go around the edges, then a 120, 220, 320. Now 320, when I'm done with the edges, I'll do the top and the bottom with the 320. Okay, I'm done with the 320. So it's basically ready to rip here. It's looking good. Back, front, sides, everything's done. Okay, from this point, I'm going to take it over and sand all the little grooves by hand. Just kind of put sandpaper in there and sand them out a little bit with a 400. Alright, I got a piece of 400 here. What I'm going to do is just stick it in like so and just push down on it and tilt it sideways so you're sanding the bottom of the groove and the side of the groove at the same time. Okay, do that like that. Then flip it over, kind of bend it this direction and go this way. Okay, you can do it for a little bit. Up to you how long you want to do it. But go through every one of them until you get them all done. And then our next step is to get the pegs, we're going to colorize the pegs. Alright, so I color coded the pegs. I got 5 one color and then 5 the other color. I'm going to let those dry. Now I'm going to route the edge around this, just round it with a router. If you don't have a router, just hand sand the edges around it, and that's all you got to do. And then let this dry here. Now you can stain this, lacquer seal it, or put some tung oil on it, or whatever you decide. But let me go ahead and round this off. Okay, I ran the router around it, and you notice I rounded off here a little bit. Okay, I went and put tung oil on it. Remember, if you use like a fir or a pine, you can paint it if you like. You can still stain it, lacquer seal it if you like, or put tung oil on it. But when I use good wood like cherry wood, you want to see how pretty the grain is. You don't want to cover that up with paint. So our tic-tac-toe board is now done.